Hey, so I'ma do maybe you could call it a reaction video or whatever that I do. I used to call it tarot and commentary, but I don't know if I'm gonna pull any tarot cards, but I might. I might. Um, but this video came up in my algorithm. It's called Body Language Analysis Hypnotherapist Reacts to Teal Swan from the Deep End. Is she dangerous? So when this first came up in my algorithm, I saw a comment that was at the top, and it was very interesting because the comment was, I'm an empath, and I realized that Teal Swan has dark, egotistical energy. That's what it was basically saying. And my first thought was, people are afraid of darkness. Like, they also made a comment that um gurus doesn't have any ego, and no, real gurus doesn't have ego. And my first thought was like, if you're not a guru yourself and you are searching for a guru, then you don't know what a real guru is. So you shouldn't even really be making that comment, because you are a person that feel like you can't heal yourself. So you are looking externally to get healing, which is okay. But then you are looking for somebody that keeps you in an illusion because they looking for love and light, when love and light is not going to help your ass. Everything comes out of darkness. So the fact that they even thinking like that let me know that they still have some ways to go on a healing journey and whatnot. But for some reason, now that I come back to the video, I can't find that comment. So interesting. It's interesting because I have a screenshot of the comment, and I was gonna make a community post talking about it. But I was like, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna do a video and I'm gonna react to this and whatnot. I'm kind of hungry though. I should have ate beforehand. Be that as it may. So, and I still have it and whatnot, but now that I come to the video, I cannot find that comment. And it was a top comment. So let's see. I really don't want to get. I don't feel like searching for it. I have the screenshot, so I don't really need to look for it. Um. Now there's a lot of people that's on Tia's side. Is that you had to understand a lot of really difficult spirits. Yeah. Yeah. And then somebody made a comment like, it's a red flag that they call them fangirls, people coming into the comments and they are taking up for Teal Swan. But he said it's a red flag that these people are simply just saying that she healed me. And they saying that sound like a cultist. See, oh, and this is not going to be on Patreon and whatnot. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with Patreon, but I do something with it in the future. But I kind of like disconnected from it. Like, I was actually telling people that I think you should leave if you are here now, because like I'm disconnecting from this right here. So I might not be uploading like as often as I should on like a Patreon. It's just that I couldn't find my other backgrounds. My computer is still kind of jumbled up. I have to find some shit, but so I'm just using this for right now. But this is not going to be on Patreon. Um, but yeah, be that as it may, I gotta take these off my ears. Y'all know how it is. These things be aggravating. All right, so we gonna go over this video. This is a body language analysis, which I find pretty interesting. Y'all probably think I watch these videos all the time, but I don't. I feel like my body language skills came from intuition. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's just that nah, it probably came from trauma, you know. It probably came from always being like an outcast or something like that and having to read the room and everything. So, or being like the quiet one and people projecting on you like, oh, if you quiet, you this or you that. Um, I learned how to read people really well and whatever. So it's most like it came from the trauma and whatnot. So yeah, let's go ahead. Man, what the fuck going on? Oh, let's go ahead and share the video. Yeah, so when you optimize this for video clips, it's hard for you to see any words. So show the video panel. I want to make this bigger. I'm trying to get back into like editing and shit like that cuz I disconnected a lot from just doing anything besides what I want to do. All right, I have watched up to like right here. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do a reaction to it because I already feel like I have a lot to say and whatnot. So let's go ahead and get started. Actually, I'm not going to do a big screen because it's going to clip into the video and then I'm going to have to be moving it around. And you know what? No, I ain't going to do all that.
Would you like to see how the conversation actually went?
Hold on. Wait. Oh.
Trying to push some sort of narrative. We're going to look at that in the first part, a cult, and something that's going on that you might catch that's a little, unless she in fact said that twice, it's very strange that we're here. And, you know, we talk a lot about body language on the channel. We saw a gentleman and his body language immediately signaled to me that there's some disagreement. A lot of people think she's this great healer, this really sweet person.
What's going on? Why can't I find
segments.
it?
The first segment is going to look at the is it based on what we're seeing, some of the editing, based on some of the things, real image of. We're going to look at that in the first part. In the second part, we're going to look at some of the stuff we saw, some of dangerous. There's a lot of different people with a lot of different opinions. We're going to look at that. We're also going to figure out on herself. So once again, sweet personal things, the type of person. What is Teal Swan running a cult organization? We're going to dive into of the documentary. Here we go. I want to begin with a scene in the documentary that was for me the first red.
I also want to say that I have not watched The Deep End. I remember some time ago, maybe a year or two ago, that I was going to watch it, but it didn't feel right to me. Like it felt very strongly like a disagreement in my spirit to the point that I paused it and did my own reading on Teal Swan. And Teal Swan is dark as fuck, but you know, that's understandable to when it comes to what position that she is in. Because if you look into my life, are you even looking into my energy, I might come off as dark as fuck too. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, that's not a judgment to me, but I remember at that time, um, I was having changes on my channel and I felt like at the time with my numbers going down so drastically, even though I wasn't really doing much different, I felt like I wasn't connecting with the audience and I couldn't find out why. I know why now, but at that time I was confused about it. So I was trying to find content that I don't mind doing, like it wouldn't be torturous for me to do it and still connect with the audience. So I was friends with Amana at the time and I was talking to her about it. And I was like, I did a reading on Teal Swan. And she like cut me off and was like, you know what you should do a reading on? It was on some basic ass news story. So it was like, I'm not interested in that, you know. This is what people are interested in. People are interested in this basic ass shit right here. Also, at the time, Dolo was starting to make videos and he was saying in his videos, like, oh, if your YouTube channel is suffering, you should just drop it and restart over. Also, the fake ass twin Bobby, he was telling me to give up on my YouTube and do like voiceovers or something like that. So there was a lot of people at the time that was telling me like you should give up, basically, or you should become more commercial like other people and whatnot. Um, but I feel like that's all a tactic. You get what I'm saying? I'm really like I get happy as fuck not to have y'all motherfuckers in my life no more. That's how I feel. Be that as your man. But now I just do whatever the fuck I want because you can't make everybody happy and you might as well do what the fuck you want. Especially when people are fucking with you because, you know, it didn't make no sense how the energy was moving. It was just like 1 minute people fuck with me and then like the next minute they didn't for like whatever reason. And I knew it was energetic, but people kept making me feel like it was something that I was doing wrong, but yet they couldn't really tell me what I was doing wrong. But let's not get too deep into that. Let's go ahead.
Flag where I went, okay, hold on, something's going on here with the editing and I'm not sure what it is. So this was Teal Swan at one of her retreats. She had a group of followers sitting in front of her and she was, going over that day's lesson. And, we talk a lot about body language on the channel. We saw a gentleman and his body language immediately signaled to me that there's some disagreement. We saw some tension in the lips. We saw some mouth blocking, which is usually trying, to hold something in. We saw the eyes kind of searching a little, like he was feeling a little skeptical. And then he voiced that skepticism. And he asked Teal if there's anyone she looks up to, if there's anyone who's above her. And immediately we saw in this documentary that she was very resistant to that, almost in an unpleasant way. Let's take a look at her answer. Try to pay attention to something that's going on that you might catch that's a little bizarre.
Is there anyone out of the team that you would have enough respect for that they could challenge you?
It's a strange question. Why is that an important question? Why? I should have someone above me.
Not above you. Like, who do you look up to?
I don't look up to anyone.
And so I have resistance against that, if I'm being brutally honest.
Why? I should have someone above me.
Okay, so not sure if you caught it. I'm sure some of you did. For me, with my experience on television, on YouTube, with editing, I'm always a little skeptical when someone's talking and we don't see them and the camera's cutting back and forth and focusing on someone else. But here, there was something else that really caught my attention. The first is, she says that same line twice, almost the exact same way. Why I should have someone above me. And it's the exact same tonality. So unless she in fact said that twice, it's very strange that we're hearing it twice. So to me, that was a question mark. Are they taking a sound clip that she said and they're repurposing it and slicing it up to make it seem like she's being really resistant to this question? And the second thing is the way she says it. She doesn't say, why should I have someone above me? She says, why I should have someone above me. Like she's asking him this. But that's not English. Teal Swan is a very eloquent speaker. She speaks really well. In fact, that's the reason she has the success she has, because people really connect with her when she speaks. If someone asks me, is there someone above me, and I want to say that statement, the answer would be, no, why should I have anyone above me? Why should I? She's not saying that. She's saying why I should. That usually comes at the end of a sentence, like blah, blah, blah. I don't know why you would say that. I don't know why I should have someone above me. But we're not seeing the first part of the statement there. It's just the end, because why I should comes at the end. So to me, looking at that, it was very bizarre. I was like, that doesn't feel like that conversation is real. So eventually my thought was confirmed by Teal Swan herself on her YouTube channel, and I will leave a link in the description. She did a video where she looked at several scenes in the documentary and said, you know, luckily my team was recording that day as well. Here's how it actually happened. And this conversation was one of those scenes. In the audio that
was really smart. That was really smart. And, you know, I'm glad that she has a tight team. You get what I'm saying? Um, when I was watching the documentary, I only got like the first part of it, but it was like a setup. You get what I'm saying? Like it was a setup to how they want you to view her. It was like they was already painting a picture of her. And you know, when shit like that happens, it made me think like, why are they attacking her? You know, that's what it makes me think about.
she shared in that video, we don't really see the back and forth a lot, but we definitely do see that the guy's statement was a lot longer. He said a lot more things, and they cut out these little bits to make it look like he's challenging her. That's not really the way it played out. So to me, that's a little irritating that it's being misrepresented as this like a
Yeah. Let's go back and read it. Because it was the topic of authority, and I'm in a position myself where I'm the BS caller. See, you giving me agent vibes. You giving me agent vibes. Why are you in the position of BS caller? For what? What put you in that position? And I have come here because I have admired seeing you, and therefore I felt that by being here, you could see something that I couldn't see because you have more experience than me. So my question is then around that for you and your growth, which I think is valid for see this oh you get what I'm saying? This is the same exact shit that people be doing to me. It's like they see he already identified himself as the BS caller. So that's what you really came here for, to find some bullshit to call out. And you sat there and you nitpick and you find something slightly, and now you trying to present yourself in front of these cameras as what? The BS caller, the one who called Teal Swan out, the one who humbles her, the one who, and you get what I'm saying? Like, if y'all go back in my community tab, it was somebody named Brenda. It was like Brenda or something. And, you know, I was just talking about stuff and everything. I was talking about my experience and whatnot. Not even really. I was analyzing something really. And they came into my comments and was like, question, how is this helping you? And I'm like, what? What is the fuck is you talking about? Like people will come out the blue and they would try to challenge you because they want to be seen better as you. So he want to reposition it of power. So what are you trying to say? Why are you asking her this question? You get what I'm saying? And that's how Teal felt. Because intuitive people, they feel that shit. Like, nah, you the one with the actual ego and you projecting on me. That's what you doing. So my question is that around that for you and your growth. See that? So my question is then around that for you and your growth, which I think is valid for anybody. Yo, this is the exact, let me tell you, this is like a certain state of mind. When people start to feel some type of way or whatever, or they feel the need to challenge me, they will say exactly this right here. Like, I need to teach you something. You know, I need you to check yourself or whatever. And I need to be the one who do it because I think that I should be better than you for whatever reason. So you come into her establishment for healing. Like in the beginning, you said, therefore I felt that by hearing you and could see something that I couldn't see in myself because you have more experience than me. And she does have more experience than you. She does have, so you here at her establishment, but you basically telling her that, well, now I feel like you need healing and I need to be the one who tell you that. I'm telling you, this is something that people do. This is a certain type of frequency, and I feel like this dude is an agent. Like he an agent.
It's to make it look like he's challenging her. That's not really the way it plays
I also did not see Teal Swan video about the deep end. I haven't seen that either.
out. So to me, that's a little irritating that
Then that answers my question.
it's being misrepresented as this like attack on her credibility, and then it looks like she's being super defensive when that's not in fact what happened. But it definitely wasn't as shocking as another conversation later in the docuseries where there was this woman at one of the retreats and she just seemed like she was calling Teal Swan out hard. And it almost seemed like they were having this argument, and it seemed like Teal Swan was very standoffish. Let's take a look at that.
Or what?
Because my life did not get better. Everything got worse. I'm sure you already know that I attempted suicide in January. I don't know if you know that. And I can't do this anymore.
Look, I know it sucks, but here's the thing. It's my intention that you feel better, right? I want you to feel better. I want you to walk out this door feeling better. But the reality is that most adults today, yourself included, are living an inauthentic life.
Is my life better now? I don't feel that it is.
But that's, see, see, this is like the issue of being in a position of the healer, okay? Because people think healing is just everything going well and everything. But, you know, I don't know too much about Teal Swan life and whatever, but I'm guarantee if you look in it, she had to overcome a lot of shit. That's the only thing that makes sense for her to have the wisdom that she does. Okay? So, and life never get easier, as y'all can see with myself. I'm always having to, you know, heal from some shit, rebuild myself, overcome some shit. But I'm still thankful and have gratitude. I don't expect for everything to go well. And I also understand, you know, when you are struggling, it's a lesson in that. So the fact that she even here saying that I came here to get healing and I don't feel like that my life is getting better, I don't understand. You here to come get healing, not for your life to get better, you know? Like only you could create that for yourself. But why are you putting that responsibility onto her? That don't make fucking sense. See, people be coming and they be delusional as fuck. See, this is why, see, Tia, this might be in her destiny to like have these groups and stuff like that, you know, but I'm really like on, like I have to do things differently because I don't trust people enough to be in a group with them. You get what I'm saying? And I know that it's certain techniques that you could do to weed out the agents. I understand that. But, you know, I feel like it's extremely dangerous and everything like that. And I don't think Teal Swan have like kids and stuff like that. So there's other things that I care more about. But it was a time that I thought about having a community, building something where people could come and heal and stuff like that. But see, my experience with people had let me know that at any motherfucking moment, motherfuckers could get triggered and whatnot. And then they feel like they have the right to blame you because they are triggered, because they not healing, because they not doing the fucking work. So that it's like, and I remember Bobby Hemming saying that it's going to get increasingly, and this is like back in the 90s or early 2000s, and he was saying that it's going to get increasingly difficult for people to come together like how Teal Swan is trying to do here, because the agents in the box are taking over, like taking over people mentality and stuff like that. They have unrealistic expectations of things, you know? They have an unrealistic outlook on shit. It's not just unrealistic. That's the wrong word. It's delusional. That's what it is. This on fuck shit right here.
But I want to ask you.
That's the thing. Yeah.
It is better?
Actually, yes.
That's bullshit.
So that was really shocking for me the first time I saw it in the series, and we could see that it's this confrontation. It really seems like they're butting heads. But
see, and it's like she had a pep talk or something, like almost like somebody got into her head or something, and now she feel like, oh, now I have to challenge Tia and everything like that. And I wonder, let me let him finish talking.
But again, in that same video on her channel, she released the actual footage of that conversation, and it's nowhere near as tense as that feels. To me, that was a really big, shocking one. It really seems like she is listening more, she is giving more advice, it's a lengthier conversation. It's a very different vibe from what we saw in the series.
Would you like to see how the conversation actually went?
Here's one thing you need to do before buying anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch this first. Watch this.
What if being a little bit more like her is what stood in between you and the life you want? That's
Being more like her?
yep.
Is that what men want?
No, I'm not telling you to turn into her.
Oh my god! Okay.
Oh,
Sorry, that just sounds horrific.
I can have so much fun with this.
Another thing that Teal shared.
I barely heard what they said, so let's go back. Cause I don't want to be my stepmom. Fuck her. Okay, so this is the thing. You should write that down. I don't want to be my stepmom. Fuck her. See that? She wasn't even. Oh my god, boy, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. What the producers did. I'm not like her. I don't need her right now. Well, what if being a little more like her is what stood in between you and the life you want? Mm. Mm. That's bullshit. Be more like her? Yep. Is that what men want? No, I'm not telling you to turn into her. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. That just sounds horrific. Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun with this today.
That's being more like her?
Yep.
Is that what men want?
No, I'm not telling you to turn into her.
Oh my god! Okay.
Oh,
Sorry, that just sounds horrific.
I can have so much fun with this.
Another thing that Teal shared on her YouTube channel is videos that the crew of the Deep End sent her for her birthday. And I'm just going to show you one or two here, and there's quite a few more. Almost everyone on the crew sent her a really kind and nice birthday video. But I just want to look.
I forgot the comment that I can't find now. They say that they seen Teal Swan on Gaia. Now I have my own thoughts about Gaia because I used to watch Gaia back in the day. And even though I feel like they have some useful information, I feel like a lot of it is tainted. There was one particular character on there that was ex-military. And I'm listening to what the dude is saying and whatnot like that. And he was even saying that his life was in danger for giving the information that he is given, even to the point so that when he was on his way to the studio, he was getting like psychically and spiritually attacked. But I kept seeing him over and over and over again, you know, and I think he even might even have his own show or some shit now. And I'm like, so you revealing like these super top secret military shit, right? And it's so top secret that your life is being threatened because you are revealing this. You having issues with coming to this studio, but yet you keep coming back repeatedly, giving more and more information. It just didn't seem real. You get what I'm saying? It seemed like either the dude was an agent or the whole thing was agent-fied. You get what I'm saying? So when I started to see stuff that just seemed kind of like either gimmicky or like it just didn't make sense. Like it didn't make sense to me. That's when I disconnected from that network and everything like that, because maybe at some point they had good intentions and everything, and maybe they got a lot of pushback and they had to eventually comply with some things. I don't know what the story is, but I know that the waters are tainted now when it comes to Gaia.
Look really quickly at the one from the director, John Casby. So this is a video he sent her on her birthday.
Happy birthday, Teal. Hope you're having a great day. I speak for the whole film crew when I say we have so much appreciation and gratitude to you and everyone on your team for welcoming us into your lives and into your family. I feel like we've learned so much along the way, and just feel
Look at him. Look at his eyes, yo. Look at his eyes.
lucky to have met someone like you who's so brave and intuitive and willing to do the hard things to make the world a better place.
That seems a little incongruent, doesn't it? Because if you watch The Deep End, it really seems like, you know, she has a...
See, I'm glad this take place because this is exactly how these agents work. This is exactly how these agents work. And I'm so motherfucking glad that Teal Swan had her own fucking crew. So you know what, man? That's why you need solid people on your side, on your team. Like, especially if you're trying to like network and shit like that, you trying to work with other corporations and companies and shit like that, man, make sure that you have your own soldiers. People that really have your fucking back. Okay? Like, I know now how dangerous it is to like maintain connection and friendships with agents. And if you show me that I can't trust you, I can't depend on you, you ain't there for me like I'm there for you, then I would not have you in my life. Like at all. Like that's crazy. Basic ass people, they have that shit all around them, but they don't really recognize it because they ain't really doing shit with their life. And that's the truth. They ain't changing nothing. They just going to work every day, going to school every day. But they ain't like healing people. They ain't making no real change in the world or some shit like that. So it's like they don't even recognize, or it's not a big deal for them to have people that is not loyal to them around them.
a lot of really dangerous habits and therapies, and that she's sometimes a mean person and she mistreats those around her. And to get such a warm and kind birthday, and by the way, this was sent like way after a lot of this was filmed. So it's not like this was in the beginning that he sent her this video. So there kind of seems to be an incongruence there. Like if he was really so thankful and he thought all these nice things about her on behalf of the entire crew, why then does your video reflect this really dangerous person? So to me, this incongruence that doesn't sit right. So what does all that mean? Does it speak to her character? Does it speak to her personality, her practice? Does it speak to how effective her methods are? Absolutely not. I just want to make it very clear that not everything we see on television, even if it's in a documentary, reflects 100% of reality, and it doesn't even reflect the true feelings of the crew behind it. Sometimes there's an agenda, sometimes production wants to go a certain direction.
It's so weird I can't find that comment now. It's real weird. It's real weird. I don't know.
They want to get a rise out of people. So we're seeing here that there were certain things that were edited to seem a certain way, and there were certain things that were done, and when you compare them to these messages that the crew are sending her, it's not really congruent with how kind they seem to think she is versus how kind they portrayed her as being on the docuseries. All right, now we're going to move on and take a look at her actual techniques and her therapy methods and look at what she's using. Is it based on anything? Is it truly her own work? And is it as dangerous as a lot of professionals seem to think it is? But before we do that, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on for more psychology content. So throughout the series, we get a lot of clues as to what methods Teal Swan is actually using to cure or work with her trauma patients. And there's a lot of hypnosis. Right off the bat, almost anyone who has any training in hypnosis or hypnotherapy can see that a lot of her language, the tonality, what looks like the meditation exercises, the things she says is very, very much hypnotic technique, hypnotic language, and comes from hypnotherapy.
I want you to sense or feel this bubble separating you from the rest of the world. Now imagine, sense, or feel the prison of this bubble.
At some point, we could see them outside, and she's doing this, what I would describe as a trance or an induction, and people are relaxing, and we even see one woman who is experiencing REM, rapid eye movement. Now, this only happens in a certain depth of sleep. So when we're sleeping, our eyes move really, really rapidly, and you can even see it with the eyelids closed. It also does happen in deep trance, but we're definitely seeing REM, and that's not something that one can fake. Try it, you'll see. Try to record yourself getting that sort of really quick twitching. It can't be done on purpose. We also get a really great clue at some point that not just Teal Swan, but her surrounding go a little bit above and beyond hypnosis and actually study the psychology of persuasion, because her best friend of years, who was at the top of her organization for a very long time, at some point is packing some things away into a box, and we see him put Influence by Robert Cialdini, which is the #1 best-selling book ever on the psychology of persuasion. Here it is, Influence by Robert Cialdini, the global authority on the psychology of persuasion. And this is actually an incredible book. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. But it's got great stuff in there, whether you work in sales or you want to use this in your day-to-day life. It has some really great explanations as to how we can get people to make certain decisions. But I've always compared this and books like this to a scalpel, because a doctor can use a scalpel to save a life, but you can also use a scalpel to really damage someone. So I'm not suggesting in any way what the intended use was in this case, why Blake had this, what use they have for this, but at the very least, we're getting an indication that her inner circle is reading this book on persuasion, so they get the psychology of persuasion as well. Another really interesting moment that I caught was this.
Now see one person in your life who you are attached to by one of these cords. Why might you have allowed them to attach this cord to you? What are you afraid will happen if this cord isn't there? Imagine the cord falling from the other person.
I instantly recognized that idea of this string that connects us to someone. It's actually an old Hawaiian ritual called Oponopono. And again, I'll leave a link in the description. And it's actually a really beautiful sort of process that you use to kind of let go emotionally of someone and sort of take your energy back, and you wish them well. That's a very big part of Oponopono that I've always loved. It's not malicious.
Yeah. And there's several ways to do that. And I feel like when you get to a certain space of enlightenment, that cord attachment you be able to actually like see it and recognize it, you know? And there's several ways to cut a cord. Like everybody don't have to do it the same way. Like he given a origin to it. And Teal Swan might not even know about this. You get what I'm saying? But she's still practicing it because when you enter like a certain level of enlightenment, information, knowledge, awareness would just come to you. And even with somebody that I was really attached to, a YouTuber, and I did like a funeral and everything like that. That was like a cord cutting ritual in itself, but it was natural. It wasn't something that I planned or whatever. I just woke up that day and was like, you know what? I'm finna dead this shit. I'm finna dead it because I see that um this person is shut down. They ain't gonna never give back to me what I'm giving to them. So we have this cord attachment, but I'm the only one that is feeding into it and it's starting to be draining. And I remember even one time that he was going through some shit and I lit a candle for him and I already had a candle lit for me. It was around like a moon cycle or something like that, but he released something and I could tell that he was really going through some shit. Or maybe it was even a time where he was talking about dying or something like that. And it's like as soon as I burned his candle, my candle became weaker, you know? And at that point, I knew like there was definitely an imbalance. Um, but I was still patient. I was still patient and everything because if we was to get into situations and as soon as somebody do something that you don't like or you see something that you don't like or whatever like that and you just dead the situation and stuff like that, I know for a person like me that's not going to be sufficient and everything. Like I want to go through the experience and truly get to a point where I feel deeply in my soul that you know what, now I got to cut the cord. You get what I'm saying? So I give people a lot of space, opportunity, and patience to see how things is going to work out. And when it doesn't work out, I try to let go with peace if I can or whatever. But what had happened with a lot of people, like with that false twin, Bobby, is that they will play all these games. See what Bobby was doing, he has a narc personality. So he would pull away and everything like that. That love bombing and then discard phase that narcs do. He would do that. But I knew that he was doing it because he wanted a certain reaction out of me. Like he wanted me to be sad, broken, chasing after him and stuff like that. That's what he wanted. That's the reaction that he was trying to get. And I always knew that. I would even tell him that's what you doing or whatever like that. But I it's not just the benefit of the doubt, it's allowing the cycle to complete when it comes to me. Cause I trust myself. So when it get to a point that I'll be like, I need to end this cycle now, then I'm gonna do it. But if you do it beforehand, you might be in your shadow and you might just be like in a very judgmental state. It might be something that is going on with you where you're not allowing yourself to loving a difficult person. And I'm okay with loving a difficult person. I'm okay with it because I will understand why they are difficult. But when they get to a point that either the person don't see my value are what's the it's not just that they don't see my value. It's not just that. It's that they mistaken my love for like weakness or something like that. And then they will start to do certain actions in my face that are extremely disrespectful. And I could tell at that point they are comfortable with disrespecting me. They are comfortable with rejecting me. They are comfortable with shading me. You get what I'm saying? So, and when it get to that point, I know that there ain't gonna be no healing while I'm still here. Cause I'm feeding them my energy and they feel good off of it. They get a high off of it, but they don't realize that. They ain't gonna realize that until it's gone. And when it's gone, a lot of times these people will get into their ego and they will try to get you to reattach in a manipulative type of way. They don't want to do the right thing. They don't want to apologize to you. They don't want to give you clarity. They don't want to like shine light on the darkness or nothing like that. No, they would rather go and do some type of spell work or something like that to make them feel empowered. Cause it's like them having a drug that is feeding them, making them feel good. And now there's a shortage on a drug and they can't get it anymore. So now they desperate for that energy. But they have so much pride and ego that they don't want to just, make things right with you. No, they want to do something manipulative to reattach to you. So,
You just wish someone well, you wish them on their way, but you just take back your energy and they can't have it anymore. And the reason I know it is because it was taught.
I ain't know about this, but if you go look at that funeral and everything that I had, that's exactly what I was doing. I was like, you know what? Fuck this nigga. I'm going to take my energy back. I'm going to take my energy back. Period. And I don't give a fuck like what happened after that. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck about like how he reacts to it, like what he do out of response to that or whatever like that. Nah, I took my energy back and I was like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. And yeah, I wish him well. If you go back and look at that, I wasn't negative towards him. And I still don't have negative feelings towards him and whatever. Like, it's only when people start to do malicious things that I be like, okay, now I gotta release the beast, Now it's that time. Because if they would have had just let me go or whatever like that and didn't try to like do certain shit to me, then it would have had just died. It would have had just died. You get what I'm saying?
Taught to me by one of my
Because with me, I don't when I'm done with you, I don't look at your videos. I don't look at your social medias. Like, I'm not looking to reattach to you. I'm not looking for that. And I'm not trying to keep myself attached to you. So I'm doing everything to disconnect myself from that energy. That's what I'm doing. But see, when people are in their like ego and shit like that, that makes them freak out.
hypnosis teachers, and a lot of hypnotists did use that beautiful imagery of a heartstring connecting us to someone and then severing it and taking it back as a great imagery to say goodbye to someone. I use it a lot. I've used it in therapy. I've seen the power of this visualization. I've had people burst into tears. I've had people get over, people that they really felt attached to still in one session. So it is a very powerful technique. But anyways, all this to say that metaphor of the string, that's not hers. It goes back to Ho'oponopono. Okay, now we're going to jump into some of her more controversial moments. And
it's still hers though, because it's her spin on it. And all of this is collective energy. So it's actually all of ours. Like, it doesn't belong to them solely. Because I'm pretty sure before that, it was something else that we probably can't find in like a history book or something, but maybe we could go to a village or something and they would have like a similar ritual. So
techniques, big warning here, big warning. Anybody who's experienced psychological trauma, anybody who's watching this video to try to figure out if Teal Swan is a good resource to deal with your trauma, if you're looking for a healer and that's why you're at this video, you might want to skip this next bit. In fact, I'll put a timestamp on the screen and you can just skip to that timestamp and it'll skip all this stuff that is really triggering. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. We're going to look at it, you know, but it is very intense. So if you feel like this might trigger some emotions, please do skip it. Okay, here we go. So at one of the retreats, we see Teal tell the followers to go off in pairs into separate rooms and re-experience their trauma with a partner. So basically the exercise seems to be, there could be more to this, but it seems to be that you're going to re-experience this trauma as deeply as you can. You're going to go back to it with this person and the person's going to do the same. Well, we see an example of it, and I'm sure that, you know, for effect, for drama, the documentary filmed all of them and picked the most intense one, and it is intense. It's very intense. So that obviously got a heck of a lot of criticism from people watching the documentary, from psychology professionals. And let's talk about what this is. Is this really dangerous? Should someone re-experience their trauma? Is there any healing capacity to that? So I have a lot of thoughts on this. First and foremost, let's address the main question.
okay, I'll make a comment afterwards and then I'm gonna stop it because I got other stuff that I have to do today. But beforehand, if you don't simulate the trauma in like a safe environment, right? Where you could have the trauma and then somebody come in and like help you heal or whatever. If you don't create the re-traumatize, like what's going to happen is like when you go back in the real world, the universe is going to do that to you. You get what I'm saying? So I see this as a benefit because at least if you're doing it in a safe place and you getting the healing from it, then when you go back out in the real world, you would know how to handle it versus going back out in the real world, being re-traumatized, and then cracking under pressure. Because it's going to happen. Like it's going to happen. And these psychotherapists and stuff like that, they shallow. You get what I'm saying? I don't know who these people is. I haven't really heard nobody else talk about this, so I wouldn't know what they are saying and whatnot. But from what he is saying, context clues, I'm getting that there's people who don't like her method. So,
can revisiting trauma be therapeutic? Big loaded question, and the answer is it really depends. There are a lot of forms of therapy that are based on revisiting the traumatic moment. I've seen a lot of very competent and capable hypnotherapists have the person go back to the moment of trauma. There's an entire discipline called EMDR therapy, which literally relies on going back to the trauma to deal with it. So I have seen the effectiveness of that type of therapy, but it's very fragile. And the problem for me is not necessarily revisiting the trauma. If Teal Swan feels that that can help and she's used this effectively before and she wants to do this one-on-one in a controlled environment, that's fine. There are ways in which that can be done. But the thing I find irresponsible about this is there doesn't seem to be a competent or licensed professional in the room. There's someone sort of overlooking. I don't know who that person is. If that person's a licensed therapist, I'll be a lot more comfortable with this idea. But it really seems like this woman is working with another woman who's experienced trauma, and we're even seeing at the end that while she's experiencing it, her partner is also being hit with that trauma. So it's bringing out that trauma out of her. I don't really see what the benefit is of putting two people like this who have a lot of sensitivities re-experience this together. Does it have benefits? I'm not saying it doesn't.
I mean, I'm guessing the reason why she did it like that is because, like, let's say that if it was Tia Swan who was playing the role as re-traumatizing you, it might be hard for later on for you to still see her as your healer. You get what I'm saying? Um, Also, I'm guessing because they are in this facility that after this exercise, they might came together and like talked about it and whatnot. Um, but let's see.
Can this be beneficial? Can it heal? I'm sure there's something here that can heal.
And I don't care about licensed people anymore. I mean, I get that when you are licensed, it is saying that, oh, you went through this programming to be trained on how to handle certain things. And I'm not saying that that's not a benefit, but I have seen people do more healing um with everyday people versus going to like a therapist or something like that. So it is what it
I
is.
just think without
And sometimes licensed people play things too safe because there is always a fear of them losing the license if they go outside of the realm of that programming. So,
someone there to be able to take care of any abreactions that might happen, something might get really emotional, and there's no one really there to step in. That's the part about this that I find a little dangerous. Again, that can be taken with a grain of salt. I know that the documentary seems to have an agenda to really push this like wow dramatic, like oh my god, look at how crazy this is type scenario. And this may be taken out of context to where we don't really know where everyone else is. Is there someone on standby? Is that person standing by the door a licensed or experienced mental health practitioner? I don't know. So it just seems on the surface that it's being a little irresponsible, but I could be wrong about that.
Now, here's the thing. You've been loosely and mostly subconsciously toying with the idea of suicide. This time, what I'm going to encourage you to do is to consciously imagine committing suicide.
There's no way of knowing if that's actually going to work out. There's no quality control there. And I don't think that it's defensible in a public forum.
Okay, so that's another one where, again, there's a lot of controversy, and I think it's rather justified. I'm not sure what that video is that she's watching. Is it a YouTube video that Teal Swan put out? Is it something that's only shown in a controlled environment to her followers at a retreat? I don't know. I haven't seen all her YouTube videos. In the comments, let me know if you're aware. That video we just saw of Teal Swan, is that just on her YouTube for anyone to watch? If it's a video that anyone can access, like on YouTube or on her website, where there isn't a controlled person around, I do believe that that could be quite dangerous. Again, am I saying it doesn't work, that it can never help? Absolutely not.
yeah, I kind of agree with that if it's just like a YouTube video or something, unless that's just like a clip from the YouTube, is more to it. Um, but from a person who attempted suicide and thought about it a lot of times for different reasons and whatnot, um, I do find that to be helpful and everything because I have been thrown into that spot a lot where I contemplated, I planned it out, wrote letters and everything. You get what I'm saying? So I've been in that spot where it was really real to me. And it's something very interesting when you are in that space. You start to think about what's really important to you. I mean, on a grander scale, like what's really important to me, like when it comes to this life and this world and everything like that. Because every time that I was in that space, ain't nobody ever come and console me, rescue me, or nothing. Ain't nobody ever came and rescued me from my emotional traumas, ever. Okay. Every fucking time that I did that, I had to get out of it on my own. I did not have no help from nobody. And it's a lot of people that don't know how to help you in that situation. You get what I'm saying? So I do see the benefit, but the way that I think and perceive is different. And I can understand what he is saying. Like if you don't think and perceive like me and you go into that state, you might not be able to get yourself out of it. You might not be able to. So I get the concern.
Not. I get what she's trying to do there. I could see how that could benefit someone. I'm not saying that the technique is only bad, but it can also be bad. I can imagine a vulnerable person on a low watching this video and it really, really not helping and doing the opposite.
And not just that, like, you know, when I had those moments, the stigma afterwards is brutal. You get what I'm saying? Like for instance, like that girl, Samaya or whatever like that. When I was going through the really hard situation of being evicted and stuff like that, and she came into my inbox, um, she said that she was praying for me. She's saying that she cared about me and stuff like that. But then she tried to take a blow at me. You get what I'm saying? So I don't get a lot of empathy and compassion. I don't get that. You know, I get a lot of people that will be like, you crazy or you have issues or something, or they might even be happy because they feel like, oh, now I have a reason to judge you. Because in their heads, they be like, well, I ain't never try to commit suicide, so I'm doing better than you and stuff like that. But, you know, I could go into why that doesn't make sense, but I'm not. But I'm thankful for that. I feel like that's why I'm the way that I am now. I know that I'm not going to get a whole lot of love and compassion and empathy from the world. All I really have is myself and my few close people. And when it comes to my few close people, I will keep them further away from my distress. Like, I don't go to my daughter and be like, this is how I'm feeling. I don't even go to my parents and be like, this is my state of mind right now. But I will come on here and say something about it. But then I would disconnect from what anybody have to say about it, because a lot of times people say the same things. But it created a certain type of character. You get what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that in the future I would never go into that state of mind, because I go into that state of mind because of how fucked up society is. But people never see it like that. They will see it as it's how fucked up you are. You fucked up. And I get it. I do. I understand. But yeah, I forgot my point.
Opposite. So yeah, I agree with the gentleman there was being interviewed. He is an expert on suicide prevention, and he's saying that, you know, you can't know how this kind of technique is going to work out, and you can't. He's right. You know what the two examples we just saw, the re-experiencing the trauma and the thinking about suicide thing, remind me of? It's like, imagine if someone goes to a friend of theirs and says, I really need more money. I want to make more money, but I don't know what to do. And their friend says, oh, that's easy. Invest all your money in the stock market. I did it. It worked out for me. I 10x'd my money. So it's great. Go do that. So let's look at that. Yeah, it could be good advice for some people. You know, if they go, they look at it a little, they figure out what's going on, they make the right investment, it could totally work out. It could be the best decision you made in your life. But it can also not work out if you don't know what you're doing, or you're not, you know, in the right space, or you don't do your research, or just out of pure luck. It could also be, you know, a complete demise of their financial situation. That's the way I see this. I'm not judging the techniques and saying this will never work. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. I'm sure in some cases it will. But to me, it is a problem that in some cases it won't. So once again, I'll say it again and again, I wish these were done in a setting where there is more control, there is someone overseeing it, or it's being done a little more responsibly. I would feel a lot more comfortable.
Nah, I wish it that it was a setting that it wasn't so damn deceitful that we see like the whole thing, the whole story.
That way. Moving along with Teal Swan's practice and her methods, this next part is going to be very difficult for me because as a mentalist, as a hypnotist, as someone who has really dealt with a lot of these techniques, I have a lot of beliefs here and I'm going to try to not let them get in the way. So I'm going to look at this very objectively because that's very important
Yeah,
to me.
get
So
to the video,
in this
bruh.
one, we're looking at therapy through channeling. So we see a lot of examples of this in the series. We see a gentleman who lost his mother, and one of the women there, Juliana, who's part of the inner circle, channels his mother, and he now is, according to this therapy, communicating with his mother, who has passed on through Juliana.
Do you think you'd be happier as a boy?
I'm sorry for all the pain I caused. I know it's a lot.
I forgive you, Mom. I forgive you.
We then go on to see a woman whose entire childhood is being played out with channeling. So one individual is channeling the child version of the woman, and then two other individuals are channeling her parents. And she is witnessing her own childhood.
You're going to bring your child self into the room.
Okay.
Along with your parents at that time.
Okay.
How are you relating to this?
I'm not recognizing. Okay. I'm not participating. You're grounded too. No, watch is over. Did she just say he can take his aggression out on me? Wow.
When I was in your father's role, about that maybe he had abused the son.
Okay.
And then when I was in the mom role, it felt like possibly like some inappropriate touches happened.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, the reason I say my experience as a performer ties into this is because with hypnosis, it's very easy to convince someone that they're a different individual. We do it all the time. And with mentalism, I've very often used psychology, trickery, and all kinds of stuff to convince people that I have access to information that I can't possibly know. So if I wanted to, I can put on a very, very convincing demonstration of channeling, but I know just how easy it is for the mind to accept things that aren't necessarily true. But once again, this is not about my beliefs or my opinion on channeling, because maybe I haven't experienced anything that allows me to believe in it, but maybe you have. Maybe something's happened in your life where you witnessed something and said, oh my God, there's no way this could be real unless this person was channeling someone I know or someone I knew. So if you believe that, total respect, absolute no resistance, you're entitled to that. What I'm curious about is this, and I'm being totally genuine here. Did what we just see convince anyone who's watching that this was 100% channeling and it can't be anything else? Please let me know in the comments.
No, it didn't. The reason is because the woman seemed surprised by the information. And I wonder why. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it something that she completely didn't expect to be channeled? Or I need more information. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. But from that clip alone, was I convinced that the person was really channeling somebody? No, because the person that was responding seemed confused, or they wasn't aware and everything. So that's why. But I know that it's a lot more that went on. Now, I'm not saying that this is not a possibility, but I could see where you could easily tie this into some form of manipulation and everything. I also, it's like, hmm. I strongly feel the need to have more information. So I'm gonna watch the documentary, and then after he get to that 30 mark or whatever like that, I will come back later and do a part two. Like after I watch the documentary, I might even try to check out what Tia Swan said about it and whatnot because I am really curious. I am curious seeing these clips.
When we saw Juliana speaking to that gentleman's mom, these generic statements, nothing really specific, did that convince anyone beyond a shadow of a doubt that she for sure channeled his mom? You might believe in channeling. I'm not asking you to debate channeling, but is that for sure a demonstration of that? Can't be role playing, can't be just imagination taking over. That is 100% a legit demonstration of channeling. Please let me know in the comments. But even that is not my.
Yeah, but there's a part that said that how the woman reacted to the part where I guess the dad or whatever was like, well, you could just take your anger out on me or something like that. The way that the woman responded to it was interesting to me too. So, but that response made me feel like, how could you know that? That's the response. That's what I got from that response. Like, how could you know that? So it was like convincing to her, but that other clip, it was different.
My biggest issue with this, because it wouldn't really matter if channeling is a real thing if this exercise benefit the person who was doing it. For example, the gentleman who got closure with his mom, does it matter if it was real channeling? Maybe not. Maybe if he left that experience feeling better about himself, like he had a chance to say some things to his mom, then great. It doesn't have to be real because it helped. Fine. But if we look at the potential positive, we have to look at the potential negative. In that second scenario of channeling, the woman didn't recognize what was happening. We see her say things like, this isn't ringing any bells. I must have blocked it out. And then when the people who were channeling say, yeah, we felt like there was some abuse, she's going, oh, I didn't remember that. And she's accepting it as being legit. And she's now convinced that she had an abusive childhood because these individuals who channeled this seem to believe so. Well, now it kind of matters if it's real. Because what if it's not? What if they're bringing their own bias, their own feeling, their own childhood into this experience? What if this isn't legitimately channeling? I don't see anyone there verifying to make sure somehow that this is a legit channeling demonstration. They're just kind of sort of doing it. And then the woman is like, oh my God, I guess I was abused as a child. And I'm sorry, I really hate that. Now again, if that's a misrepresentation and somehow it was edited in a way where that's not what happened, I'd welcome that. I would love to see that footage. But this isn't a case of like a broken conversation. She's legitimately saying things and seeing things. She's that emotion in her face to where she came out of that experience believing that there may have been abuse in her childhood. I'm not okay with that. In fact, in the documentary, we get a testimonial from an ex-member of the inner circle who says that he was convinced of things that may not have been true because he just believed these processes and these therapies and he had blind faith in Teal. Take a look.
Teal made me question like all of my childhood experiences and everything that I had gone through, and just made me like cut ties with family and think this and accuse my dad of sexual abuse, like awful stuff.
Now again, am I saying that this gentleman's testimony means that Teal is evil and everything she does has to be thrown out? No. This gentleman obviously had a terrible experience. Obviously, he's going to speak very negatively, so I don't really take his opinion as the entirety of what I think of Teal Swan, but that's valuable what he's saying there.
Yeah, but why he... That's a weird picture to have on the wall. You don't think so? Like why he framed that picture? It's like a childhood drawing of I love my daddy. I'm just curious why he felt the need to go somewhere to get healing then. Like what was the trauma? What was it? Oh, did you just go for the experience? Then why? What attracted you to it? So,
to where he had these ideas in his head of what happened in his childhood or with his father, because I could very much see that that channeling exercise can provoke this kind of circumstance. So to sum up the second section, is Teal Swan's practice the worst thing in the world? Is she a demonic, satanic, cult-leading monster? I don't think that she is. I think that somewhere in Teal Swan there is a willingness to help people. We're going to now talk about sort of her personality and her character. I think that there is a willingness to help people. I think that if you're just watching her YouTube channel and you're picking up some tips and some little exercises, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I actually think if you find benefits there and it's helping you out, by all means, go for it. Some of these therapy practices, though, at the retreats in person are a little intense. So let's quickly talk about how do we screen a therapist? How do we know if a potential healer or guru is dangerous, whether it's for ourselves or...
all right. So I'm gonna stop it here and whatnot, and I'm gonna watch the documentary and come back and do a part 2. Maybe finish this video, but I don't know if I will. And I don't know if watching the documentary is gonna be like, because I still feel like I'm gonna feel like there's a lot information that is missing. The other thing is that when you are healing people, are you bringing people into enlightenment, you will get attacked. The only time that reality may not become real for you, like with a person like this, even though he may have dealt with attacks too, but he's a very play by the book. He plays it safe, this person right here. And when you are like that, they don't feel the need to attack you. Like with the guy who was speaking about his father and everything like that, this is before the documentary was out. So it had to be when it was feminine, right? So what they was calling ex-members, and then they found this dude. It's that one thing with that picture on the fucking wall. That just seemed extreme to me. Like, I don't know. I don't know. That's a little extreme to me. Cause that seemed like his house, right? And he framed a old, and I guess this is to remind himself that no, I love my parents and da 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 da. But so it's kind of like he reprogramming himself to a certain mindset, right? Not saying that that's not what he shouldn't be doing and whatnot. But it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder. All right, y'all. Stay blessed.